Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Am I allowed to have my water here, guys?
Yeah, you're allowed.
All right.
Scott's talking about the new energy and that, like it being invigorating. Do you feel that? New coaches, a lot of new faces, new players.
Man, spring ball started. I'm happy, man. You ain't getting pumped up for this one. I don't know something wrong with you, right? So being back on the field from last season, it's the first time being back on the field as a group with new kids, new faces. It's like for me, it's like a coach opening up Christmas gifts right now. I get a chance to see what you recruited and see what you brought in, and get a chance to see what they got, um, coach them up, teach them, watch them compete. So it's like open up a new toy for me.
Totally different room for you, right? I mean, because you've got I mean, Cam had a ton of experience, and your safeties had a ton of experience. So, how's it kind of been adjusting to a different group of guys and quite a few new
Seven new guys for me. Yeah, so 7 new guys in the room. So right now all 7 are here, but 5 of those 7 are here, and those guys been excellent. Those guys, I mean. Couldn't have brought in a better group of guys. Character-wise, those guys are awesome. Those guys jump right in, and for the most part, the guys that were here already were younger players as far as being on the field, but veterans as far as the culture. Those guys, it's been phenomenal since they've been here.
You lose a lot of experience. Did you take that as a personal challenge?
Yeah, that's a personal challenge. It's always a challenge when you lose a lot of guys that play a lot of football, and then you get some guys, and the first thing you say is inexperience.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge for me. I just say, hey, get some guys that are inexperienced now to get them on the field and get them experience really fast. So give them as much reps as possible. Game speed reps as possible. Let them go out and see what they got.
Where are the personalities in this room this year? I mean, you had so many big personality guys that were like for the whole defense last year.
Yep.
Where does that start with this group?
I got some character in there now, so it's pretty much some of the younger guys. Some of the younger guys that's coming in are not your typical young guy that's gonna sit in the back of the room and don't talk. I mean, today was the first day of meetings, and I asked a young kid a question, and he was the loudest guy in the room. I mean, he was yelling it fast. So, I mean, if I was the person sitting right next to him, I'd be, you know what I'm saying? So the energy's there, the character's there. Guys that's making plays today on the field, showing a little character after the play. I let it go. I let it go today and let them see and let them feel good about themselves, being out there happy, flying around. So I think I got the character in the room I need.
Who's the young guy that responded like that?
I'm not calling the names, but I got some young guys that are going. At this point in spring ball, I'm not interested in making guys feel good. I pat them on the back when I need to, but I'm just grinding them. I'm just interested in grinding, trying to find out who I got in that room. That'll keep going. So this spring is just all about putting our head down and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, and then we'll take a breather when it's time to when we get a day off or something. We'll take a breather on days we don't practice, and take breathers on days we don't practice, and mental days where we can just go in and get those classroom days in. But right now, I don't want to grind. I don't want to bring that name out.
When you have 7 new guys that are coming in, 5 that are already here, like what's the message then that you have to say to the guys that were already here that see those guys coming in?
It's depth in the room. It's depth in the room, and if you wasn't one of those guys that played 80% of the season last year, then your opportunity is now. Your opportunity is now, and if you're one of those new guys that came to Nebraska because you saw that you can had a chance to play here right away and be coached here and all the things that you saw when you chose this school, and the opportunity is there as well. So, I know for the most part those guys couldn't wait. Those new guys couldn't wait to touch the field today because they saw themselves being able to play here, and that's why they couldn't wait to touch the field today. And it was those older guys, I tell you a story. Like when I told those guys when I was in the NFL, even if I was a starter my whole entire career in the NFL, every year that I played in the NFL, the teams brought in someone to take my spot. I'm talking about every single year. So whether it was a first round pick, and I was drafted in the second, and next year they drafted the first round pick, or they took a free agency. They took a free agency in the off season. When we showed up to camp, I had to beat those guys out. I know those guys were brought in and had the money tags and all that, but I still had to beat those guys out. So this mentality is the same way here. Like I brought in guys to not be anyone's backup.
Does Quentin react to that well?
You got no choice.
How is he?
He's doing great. He's doing great. But I didn't bring guys here to be anyone's backup. I brought guys to play. And then if I was the guy that was here already, I'd be like, oh, it's time to pick it up. I need that. So I think that's how Quentin reacts. If I had to answer that question for you, but that's the way I want it.
How much more is that mentality true in this transfer portal era when it's not even a high school freshman, but it's a guy who maybe has a couple of years of college experience already?
Yeah, and you take advantage of it a little bit because you bring in a guy that just left high school. He got to get in the weight room. He got to find his way around campus. He got to learn how to tell mama I call you back later. She's stalling every. And then you got guys that are been in college already, maybe a year or two. They kind of get it. And mom is like, okay, you're out the nest, buddy. I'm not calling you. I'll talk to you next week. So then you got those guys that obviously been in college before, so it's a little different.
What was your excitement level to be able to re-recruit Tommy Hill? I know he was a big target for you, and the 2021 class, he went to Arizona State. He comes available again. You get him to campus right away. Were you pretty excited when you knew that he was in the transfer portal and you were going to get that opportunity?
Yeah, man, I was fired up by the competition part of that deal. I had deep down inside, I lost him the first time, so I was like, I get a chance the second time. I got to win this one. So I think Tommy knows. Tommy mentioned to me a while ago that when he first got here, he said, "Hey, I had the opportunity to recruit him again." He said, "Hey, man, coach, I should have came the first time." And so I think it was just a quick deal for him. And he's fired up, man. He's fired up, touched the field today. So doing a great job.
One way to look at it, Quentin Newsome maybe got a spot on one side and the other side. There's guys competing. Is that the way to look at it?
No, it's the way to look at it for me is Quentin Newsome is part of the DB room, and Quentin Newsome will have to practice every day to keep the even be able to touch the field. He's gonna have to come with it. And I got some guys that can play.
Hey, how much of Quentin's experience last year about not getting the black shirt at first and then sticking with it, how much of that can be something that you impart on those other young guys now that are having to compete for all those spots?
One thing about that black shirt Quentin got last year is he earned it. That's the best thing about that. He earned that. And I think that, if Quentin continues to come and have the same approach that he's had and been able to be coached. Because you got to think about it, it's tough to start for me for 12 games. Because I'm asking guys to do things that guys in the National Football League do. All right, so it's tough to start for me for 12 games, and he did it. And so that makes it even tougher for somebody else coming in to take a spot. He have to actually not have the same mentality in order for that to happen. So, I just think Quentin is doing a great job, and if he continue to do a great job and have the right mindset, because it's easy sometimes to look back and don't see no worm in your tail. But the right kind of player don't ever look back. The right kind of player don't ever look back to see how far someone's behind. The right kind of player just every day just look forward. And I think if Quentin can continue to do that, Quentin will be the next guy that plays Sunday's football here. And obviously it's going to help him out when the season starts. It's going to help him out a whole lot with the plays that he didn't make last year to make him this year.
What did you see from Deshaun Singleton that made him a priority for you as you were recruiting safeties this past year?
Just a big guy that can cover, that can play corner as well. You watch his film, he's playing corner a lot of snaps. I had a chance to go up and watch him play. And when I watched him play, he's moving around the same way. So I think Deshaun, to take him as a corner sometimes would have been what most guys like, but it's the size part of it and movement skill part of it. Hey, you definitely can work in this defense being a safety. So, and Deshaun is doing a great job as well.
What about Omar Brown? How he came about and what he adds to this room?
Yeah, Omar's another one. He's a good guy with some experience. He's a good guy with some experience that's played a lot of football on his level. Has been one of the top guys on his level. Coming in as a two-time All-American from Northern Iowa. Let's take a guy that's already in the Midwest and wanted to play football on a high level. So I think this was a good choice for Omar and a good pick for us as well.
Do you guys still have your production chart this spring?
One up today. One up today. Yep.
Who's the early clubhouse leader there?
I don't know. We had to cut film to come up and watch this, so when we go back and watch film, I got to finish it up. So, but there's some guys, young guys in the league so far.
I think you added 5 new faces for the spring. I mean, is that about as many as you ever added as a coach over a spring?
Yep.
And how does that change the dynamic? You have that many new guys coming in trying to take jobs.
Well, let's say I had 7 after the season ended, right? So I had 7 guys with Cam and those guys leaving out, Deontay and those guys leaving out. So I had 7 guys, and then you go into Christmas with 7 guys, and they're probably sitting around in the room like, well, it's just us. We've been with each other for 3 years, Then you bring 5 new faces in, and then things start to tighten up. Most of all 5 of these guys played football before in college on that level. So I think for the most part, that's what I wanted to make that room competitive. Like I've always wanted to have that DB room competitive, and then bring guys that normally is in the same year, kind of want the same thing, and to have the kind of spring I want to have.
You just didn't want guys thinking the job's handed to them. Like,
Oh yeah, that's the kind of world we live in. Nobody wants to work for it. Everyone want that thing handed to them. So that's the total opposite of what I'm going to give them this year. But what I'm going to give them this spring is something handed to them. So I don't have a first group, a second group, or a third group. I got an old group, and I got a new group. All right, so you'll see probably sometimes the most talented guys might be sitting in the new group. All right, but I only do that because nothing is going to be handed to anyone. All right, so I'm going to move those guys around accordingly to that. So it'll make a lot of sense to the guys when they're competing on why this young guy is in the old guy group. You know what I'm saying? If a young guy pops up in the old guy group, then he's doing something right. And if an old guy pops up in the young guy group, he knows immediately I'm not doing something right. So that's the way I wanted to have. So.
Does the defense have an edge on the offense this spring? Because you guys you've got a lot of guys back.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, we got some new offensive staff pretty much, except for one. But we do got some guys over there that can play football that we brought in. So it's not like it's going to be a walk in the park when it comes to have the edge. As far as knowing the defense right now, yeah, absolutely. We got the same defensive staff pretty much for the most part. But, it's having the edge as far as the defense actually knowing the defense, defensive players actually knowing the defense, I think so. Not my room, but I think so.
I was just going to ask, what's the priority for the new guys this spring? Is it to learn most of the defense? And I guess what do you guys hoping to accomplish with those new guys?
Yep, the priority for those guys is to know the playbook just like they're an old guy. So it's no different than if those guys been sitting here for 3 years. I mean, we're talking spring ball. We're talking basically a whole new room almost, and then we're talking guys that want to play. So guys that don't want to play can't be a young guy. You don't get a chance to watch a little bit of film. You know what I'm saying? If you want to play, it's a lot on the plate. I think we brought the guys in here that can handle a lot on the plate.
Hey, I wanted to ask about Deshaun. He was kind of an untraditional junior college player in that he kind of went to JUCO to improve his recruiting stock. He was only there for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware of him in high school? And if not, like, what jumped out to you about his play that's like, I want to take this guy now?
Yeah, he was a basketball player. He was a highly recruited basketball player in high school that wanted to play, jumped in football and wanted to get recruited a little bit differently in football. And so he chose to come out this way to go to junior college. And then I found out about him just watching some film. And then I ended up one day it's crazy because I had some recruits in town and some DBs are in town. And then I had the opportunity, those guys were going to go home and take a nap. And I drove up to Deshaun's junior college game while they were taking a nap, watched them play, and then came back at dinner. Like I never left, so I had to do it, but it's just part of it. So I got a chance to get some game, watch him live in the football game before I actually made that decision.
What do you like about his game? I think there's some expectation he may have to play early. So what do you like about him?
Well, first of all, he's big, and I can't coach that. All right, so he's big, he can run, and I can't coach that either. All right, but the best thing about him is he's smart, and he's very, very, very coachable. He's very humble. So, he's humble like a freshman that wants to play real bad. Not like a guy that's left junior college that comes to a school like he's very humble, so it's easy for me to coach him. Right now, if I had to say, if I've been here for 30 days and let's say those guys had 30 opportunities, 30 days to come in and watch film, he's been there every single day. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted, that guy that I could coach, that cocky guy.
Is that like Deontay? Was he like that too?
Deontay was like that too. Deontay was the same way. Deontay was that guy that just stayed in the office all day long. Mature, very mature. And before you know it, Deontay was the captain on the defense. We didn't have Deontay, we were in trouble. So I think Deshaun would be the similar player.
What about Tommy Hill? You recruited him in high school. Remember Arizona State, you got him back. Is he kind of what you thought he'd be, and where's he at right now?
Yeah, Tommy Hill is a very good football player. I mean, he makes plays all over the place. It's all about getting Tommy into the playbook, and he's in the playbook, and he's hungrier than a hungry dog, man. He's always trying to, hey coach, how did I do? Hey coach, what do you think about that? Hey coach, what do you think about this? So made some plays today in practice. He's going to continue to make a lot of plays. His playmaking ability is hip high. So looking forward to good stuff from Tommy.
What are you looking forward to?